So what are your favorite slice of life anime? Let me know in the comment section below, because today I've got 10 outstanding anime series that I know you are gonna fall in love with. Not all of these shows I would technically consider them to be slice of life, but they are all shows which follow that daily life aspect and follow the characters' lives and give you this rich emotional connection to the characters, and they're all just beautiful stories, some of my favorite anime, and this list is tailored for a more older audience or a more mature audience, basically just people in general that are tired of the cutesy slice of life stuff and they want something with a bit more substance, because we all know how picky I am when it comes to slice of life anime. So let's get started with this list, and just remember, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and also be sure to subscribe. Starting off with number 10, we have Rainbow, which is set during 1950s Japan following a group of teenage miscreants who are serving time in prison. While these teenagers suffer from brutal punishment from the guards, they promise each other that by working together they will one day overcome the tremendous adversities which they face and realize their own individual dreams. So if you're a big fan of intense drama, then Rainbow is going to be right up your alley here. However, I will say that if subtlety is important to you when it comes to drama, you will probably feel that Rainbow is a bit melodramatic, but I still think it's worth a watch. Next at number 9, we have The Wallflower, which follows a teenage girl who's an antisocial gothic who is forced by her mother to live in a house full of preppy males, and it's their goal to change her into a, quote, proper lady. So if you consider yourself a big fan of the more comedic, relaxing, and cute slice of life anime, which personally I'm not a fan of, but if that's what you like, then that's perfectly fine. But I think Wallflower is probably going to meet your personal criteria maybe more than anything else on this list. And I also want to say, just in case you're one of the people that cringed when you saw that art style and heard the description, and I know there's some of you out there because I was once one of these people myself, I would recommend giving this anime the maybe 2 or 3 episodes try and just see if it's going to change your mind. Number 8 is Rumbling Hearts, a romance story following a young adult who works and even lives on his own. What makes the story so complex is that he dates the best friend of his high school girlfriend who fell into a coma while they were together. If you decide to watch Rumbling Hearts, you will find that it's an incredibly polarizing experience, especially if you decide to talk to other people who watched it, because there's always people on one side of the fence or the other, and it always kind of becomes this debate or an argument. Trust me, I reviewed the anime a while back, but this is a show where you get people on one side of the fence where they're saying that he should have stayed with the girl in the coma, and then you've got people on the other side of the fence, like myself, who says that after a while, when the time was right, he should have moved on and followed his heart, because I don't think anybody could really blame him for that. This is a really touching story, I feel, and even though the story itself, yes, it's not perfect, but it's still one of the few anime series that actually does romance right, like an adult romance, because you've got the main character, he's working, he's living by himself, his girlfriend comes over, she'll cook food for him, they'll have sex, they will just have dates and stuff, and they'll spend time together talking about things that are even relating to their future together as well, and I felt like this was a very realistic, probably the most realistic romance relationship that I've seen in an anime, and when they do the whole sex scenes, it's not anything that is intended to be erotic for the viewer or anything like that. It's more in the sense of this is what an actual relationship looks like, and I really appreciated that they added that to the anime. Next at number 7, we have Great Teacher Onizuka, which follows a delinquent pervert of a teacher who used to be a feared member of a motorcycle gang. Here we see Onizuka perv out as he tries to score dates with teachers and the mothers of some of his students. You know what they say, an anime with MILFs is an anime for Bob. But seriously though, Great Teacher Onizuka is broken up into 2 halves, and I want to warn you about this because I probably would have enjoyed the anime more if I'd known this, but the first half of the anime, I don't want to say it's episodic, but basically Onizuka will go on an episode-by-episode basis and get more acquainted with some of his individual students, and those episodes are hilarious. But the second half of the anime, it's still good, it's still funny, but it goes over a much larger arc, which can be a bit more dramatic, and it is actually more serious, and it wasn't bad by any means, but I wasn't prepared for that, and I was just wanting more of that comedy that we had in the beginning of the series here. I love that, and I would have loved to see an entire series of nothing but just that. Number 6 is Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, a story that mostly focuses on character progression and romance as a teenage boy aspires to become a great guitar player in a band, meanwhile falling in love with the younger sister of his mentor. Now, I know the main character of Beck is 14 years old, and this list is tailored towards the more older anime fans, but that's not exactly the point. Now, the great thing about Beck, and what makes it so amazing as an anime, is that how realistically it portrays the teenage experience, about all of the uncertainty in life, all of the unrequited love, all of the confusion and excitement that come with life as a teenager. This anime truly nails it, and this is something that I feel like everybody should watch. Beck. Next up at number 5, we have Kids on the Slope, which follows a group of teenagers who come together over their love of playing jazz music. There really isn't much that I can say about Kids on the Slope that I didn't already say about Beck. They're both great shows for pretty much the same reason and how well they articulate the teenage experience, but I will say that from what I remember of the two anime, Beck focuses mostly on a few of the individual characters, whereas Kids on the Slope focuses on the group of friends as a whole. It's only like 3 people there, but it's still something that I feel like each of these characters get their own same amount of screen time basically, but this is a show that it's got so much bonding here. It's got these characters, they have problems with each other sometimes, as you do when, you know, pretty much any time in life, and it's got the bonding, it's got a bit of romance there, and this really is a show that truly knows how to pull on your heartstrings. Number 4 is Genshiken, which as far as I'm concerned, it is a prerequisite for any anime fan. It follows a group of college students in their anime club where they together watch anime, read manga, build model kits, go to conventions, and so much more. Now, what makes Genshiken such an absolute requirement for everybody watching this video, and I'll go even further than that and say every anime fan needs to see Genshiken, is because it is so relatable. There are so many different characters here. There's like 10 different characters, and they all have their own individual personalities, things they like, things they don't like, their different hobbies, and how they even feel about anime. So you'll get characters that range between being a total otaku to just being your average anime fan, or there's even people in the group who are not even that big fans of anime, but they're just there to pass the time or possibly even for companionship. Next up at number 3, Showagen Roku Rakugo Shinju is a story beginning prior to the events of World War II, following several characters through their entire lifetime, all with one thing in common: their love of Rakugo, an ancient Japanese form of storytelling. Now, I know what you must be thinking, Bob, why is it that I gotta go out of my way and watch an anime that is set in a time that I don't know much about and is revolving around an art that I frankly do not care about? And you know what? You know how I know that? I thought the same thing too. I don't know what Rakugo is. Nobody knows what Rakugo is over here in the States. Maybe like 5 people. That mindset allowed me to focus solely on the characters, and that is the show's bread and butter, and that is why it's on this list, because they do a phenomenal job of characterization here, about how they'll have so many different characters, but because they all have contrasting personalities, they'll play off of each other beautifully, and we get to learn so much about who these characters are and where they came from. Please go check this one out. Welcome to the NHK follows Sato, a college dropout with severe social anxiety who becomes a recluse for around 4 years prior to the events of the show. The story follows Sato, who tries to overcome his condition, meanwhile becoming acquainted with his otaku neighbor and mysterious love interest who try to get him out of his reclusive ways. I want to tell you this: Welcome to the NHK is first a drama, secondly a dark comedy, as it brilliantly depicts the mindset of somebody who is suffering with severe social anxiety to the extent of locking themselves away from the world. Welcome to the NHK shines a bright spotlight on all the negative and detrimental aspects of the otaku fandom and lifestyle on people who are depressed or have social anxiety, and this show really raises awareness about mental health, social anxiety, depression, suicide, and even drug use if you are going to read the novel or the manga. Lastly, at number 1, we have Planet Tess. It's the story of a few adults in space who clean up garbage from Earth's orbit. I feel like Planet Tess works brilliantly for the same reasons that Showagen Roku does. Yes, the characters are in space, but they're not really doing anything that exciting in the beginning, just cleaning up garbage. So, as the viewer, you're focusing solely on the characters' personalities and not so much what exactly it is that they're doing. When you watch Planet Tess, you're gonna feel maybe in the beginning like, oh, this is gonna be a very relaxing and easygoing anime, but the truth is about Planet Tess, and one of the many things that make this anime so great, is that it has got to be the most smoothest twist and gradual plot progression and character development that I can think of in recent memory here, and it's definitely something that through the interaction of these characters, you're going to have a strong emotional connection with the characters and also with the story, and by the end of this anime, you're going to feel like, man, this show has been drop kicking me in the heart, because that is how many feels you're going to get when watching it. So at the end of the day, my list is not your list, so if you feel like I missed out on any anime, let me know about that in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, what are you waiting for? You already got this far. Hit that subscribe button, because I know you're going to be coming back here, because I will not stop sharing these amazing anime with you all. No matter how much you want to ask me, Bob, I don't have time to watch all these amazing shows. Could you please stop talking about so many great anime? No, I'm not going to do that. So hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an awesome night, everybody.